Hello, welcome back to the channel. You're listening to Megan here, the Healing Foods Coach, also known as the Faithful Fibromyalgia Warrior, all set and ready for the winter season and the holiday time of the year, which I love. Sunday, November the 30th. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much, by the way, for all of your continued support and words of encouragement as you continue to watch my videos and my shorts and just continue to give your likes and support this channel. It does mean everything to me. Thank you. So I just wanted to quickly talk about, as we're heading into the Christmas season, and of course, all the many temptations that are out there with the hot drinks that either have chocolate in them or syrups or whipped creams and all the cakes and cookies and all those other bits and pieces that many of us, for years at least, had associated with this time of year, myself included. And I used to always joke, way back in the time before I became carnivore, that Christmas season meant it was time for all of the shortbreads and the special cookies, the gingerbread, the candies, all the treats because, well, it's Christmas. And I didn't understand, I didn't really think much about the fact that I could enjoy the season without all those goodies. Now, believe me, I understand that it is not easy to avoid all the temptations that come with the Christmas season. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas yourself for your own personal faith, maybe you celebrate Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, winter solstice, whatever it might be, you can't avoid all of the frappes and nutcracker, gingerbread, latte, cappuccino flavored beverages at every single big chain and specialty little individual coffee shops out there. It's everywhere. And it's easy to want to give it and have a little treat of indulgence. Like I said, I did it for years. And so I know it's not easy to give those things up, especially if you are fairly new to the low carb keto or carnivore diet. Perhaps you're just getting started. Perhaps you are perhaps you haven't even started. Maybe you're just deciding that you're going to get started and you want to do it now before the actual, 24th, 25th, or whenever your particular holiday might be. But maybe you, like I was for many years, considered it to be too difficult to make those changes at this time of year because of all the temptations, all the sweet things, all the things that we associate with happy, positive thoughts and Christmas time. And I'll say Christmas simply because that is the main holiday that we celebrate at this time of year. But I do accept and recognize, of course, other religions have other holidays as well. Okay, but I'm going to relate to the eggnog, hazelnut drinks and goodies and treats and the mince pies and all those things. And it's hard to avoid. They're everywhere. And if we're used to always allowing ourselves sweet treats and sugary goodness, sugary treats and candies, candy canes, etc., chocolates and everything else, it can feel impossible to think I have to give it all up right this minute. And it's not easy. And even if we've been low carb keto or even carnivore for a little while, let's be honest, when Christmas time especially comes rolling around, it is still a tricky thing to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to avoid that. My first year on carnivore, and I'll share just my personal experience, my very first Christmas, I'd been carnivore by that point 5 months. I've been feeling pretty good. We're starting to see some great improvements. Brain fog was lifted dramatically, almost 85% from my fibromyalgia. A lot of my inflammation had come down. It wasn't gone, but it was definitely coming down. I felt like I was getting my brain back. I had been losing weight. I had at that stage already reversed my fatty liver disease. My thyroid seemed to be finally behaving itself. I no longer had hypothyroidism. I was in a place where I was starting to feel some great improvements. I still had IBS, but the symptoms were a lot less significant. And critically and importantly for myself, at that point, because my brain fog was lifting and I felt like I got my mind back and myself back, I was able to reconnect to my faith with God. And that for me was really important. So that was critical for me in 2020. And of course, we were, obviously still in lockdown. But I was finding it very difficult, even though I had felt like I was pretty much fat adapted. I think the combination of being stuck indoors during COVID, the first Christmas of COVID, missing shortbread cookies in particular, my husband, out of the goodness of his heart, decided, well, I know you don't have, I know, I couldn't have gluten. I couldn't anyways. I'm gluten intolerant. Found, I can't remember who the make was, but they made gluten-free shortbread cookies. So we got those. Now, of course, I should have said no because they were gluten-free, but they weren't completely sugar-free. They had stevia, but they also had a bit of actual honey and sugar in them. But I had made a decision that I was willing to suffer the consequences and have just a couple of little fingers of shortbread, and that was it. And I would share the rest with everybody else. Now, no one else in my family was trying to be low carb or keto and definitely not carnivore. And so nobody wanted cookies that they thought were going to taste like cardboard. I ended up eating the entire box myself. So that was, I don't know, 16 or 18 cookies, right? And I felt horrible. But I gave in because I was tempted. I was still trying to drink. I was still drinking cappuccinos with milk, or I was still drinking lattes because I wasn't willing to accept at that stage that my lactose intolerance was actually real, even though I'd been diagnosed with it. I wasn't willing to accept it. So I was still drinking lattes with sugar-free syrups and whipped cream on the top. So sugar-free gingerbread syrup and whipped cream. Because I thought whipped cream and dairy, that's still carnivore, so I can do that. And again, I felt horrible. And I share that because I can certainly appreciate that even if you've been carnivore for several months, it can still be a temptation at this time of year to want to go and binge all the goodies because they still look good. And sometimes they just seem to those cravings might come out of nowhere. If you've been feeling stressful or emotional for some reason, you might suddenly have a craving that maybe you didn't even have for a long time. And all I can say, if I may, this is just what's worked for me every year since then. So I've been carnivore now 5.5 years, never plan to go back ever. I've in the best health of my life, and I have no desire to feel the aches and pains of osteoarthritis, the inflammation, and the fibromyalgia, brain fog, or pain that came with eating all the carbs and the sugar. I have no interest in getting back my IBS or any of those things. So for me, I remember that's what helps remind me to stay away from it. Now, I understand some people have severe food addictions and carb addictions in particular, and it's not that simple. But what I had to do after that first Christmas disaster was repeatedly tell myself every Christmas since then, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And remind myself what I've come to so far. So for me, because of my fibromyalgia, chronic pain, and inflammation, I had to stop working for 8 years. I couldn't work for 8 years because the brain fog and all the pain and everything else. I was also in a wheelchair for over 8 years. Since I've been carnivore, gradually, all the brain fog is completely lifted. The inflammation is gone. The chronic pain is gone. And not only am I not in a wheelchair, but I have full range of motion and mobility back. I walk to work and home every single day. So that's 15 minutes there and back. I take my dogs out for a walk every single morning. That's another 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm walking about 45 minutes every day. And for 8 years, I couldn't do that. I was in a chair. So I feel pretty blessed. Do I still have fibromyalgia? Yes, but currently I'm in remission. I also know, however, if I start eating sugar and crap once again, it will flare back up. And I want to stay in remission. I want to keep those symptoms out of my life. But I also know that if I overdo it with exercise or activity levels, it'll come racing back. So I need to still not overdo it and absolutely avoid all that garbage, but that helps. What else have I learned? Well, I have healed my gut massively. It's 95% healed at this stage. 95 to 97% healed, I would say. I have to be careful. Certain cured meats can still set off IBS. And more than that, mine is often triggered by stress, which is hard to avoid when I work in a very busy call center. So that's why I can't say it's 100% healed. but it is 97% healed from what it used to be. And I'm not constipated for 3 weeks at a time. That's no longer an issue. Overall, I feel fantastic. And I'm really lucky that way. What else has changed? Well, I feel like I've got my mind back. I was able to go back to school online and complete my certification as a nutrition coach. Never thought I'd have the mind to go back and study anything, and yet I have. So I feel fantastic about that. And back at work full time. Never thought that would happen either. And so I'm really, really thankful for that. I'm just glad to feel like I'm myself, but better. My non-alcoholic fatty liver disease completely reversed. My hypothyroidism completely reversed. My significant depression gone. Doesn't mean I'm never depressed. Sometimes I feel depressed, but it's not this thing that would hover over me for weeks or months at a time. And my crippling anxiety, where I felt like I couldn't make any decisions. I would feel like I was trapped in my mind, unable to move ahead in any way, make any decisions of any kind. And do you know what? I don't have that anymore. I still have anxious moments. There are things in life I cannot control. I wish I could, but I have had to accept that I can't. Now, luckily, God is in control, because I'm not, certainly. And I wish at times I could be in charge of everything and make everything happen the way as I think it should. But I can't. And I'm learning how to let go and accept that, so I don't deal with crippling anxiety about life anymore. I have anxious moments. We all do. But I'm able to work through it quickly. And that's been amazing. And, like I said, from being in a wheelchair, a wheelchair for 8 years, barely being able to walk through my house, to being mobile and functioning once again, absolutely amazing. And osteoarthritis symptoms completely gone. Totally, like absolutely gone. And as a side bonus, I lost 100 pounds, or 45 kilos if you're metric. That was a bonus. That was a side bonus. But everything else, every other beautiful healing factor in my life has been well worth it. And so that's what helps keep me from giving in to the temptations, as powerful as they can be at this time of year. I am not perfect. I'm certainly not. And 3 years ago, I had a slip. If you go back into my file of old videos, you'll see one where I slipped up. I gave in and I ate a whole sleeve of, I think it was white chocolate and macadamia nut cookies. My binges caught the best of me. I was still in the throes of a bulimic way of thinking. Okay, I'd like to say that I'm cured. I don't think there's a cure, but I would say I'm in remission. And I feel like I have the winning hand when it comes to fighting through the bulimia. The mentality of, you don't look good and that, or you still need to lose weight, or you're not worthwhile. All those things I can stomp on daily. And sometimes it is a daily battle and a wrestle through faith and prayer, and just remembering how amazing my God is. Same God that loves you all, by the way. And that helps. But I tell you what, if I was still eating garbage and all the inflammatory crap foods I used to, I wouldn't be there. So that's made a huge, huge difference in my life. And I guess I wanted to make this longer video and share it with you simply because it helped me. Certainly my first Christmas as a carnivore, and definitely when I had a bit of a slip a few years ago. Since then, nothing at all. And anytime I have even just a 2-second hint of, I wonder if I could just have a tiny bit of chocolate, I have to stop myself, because here's the thing. I cannot moderate. I know I can't. I've tried it. It does not work. And so when I stop and tell myself, look, Megan, it is not worth it. You'll be inflamed. You'll feel horrible. Your rosacea will flare up and explode all over your face. You're going to feel like awful garbage in about 30 seconds. Don't do it. I've finally learned how to listen to that voice. Finally. But if you're not quite there yet, and if it is, difficult, I understand. I may not have all the answers, and perhaps my answers don't work for you, but maybe they will. And if you ever need to share your own struggles just to have a supportive ear that listens, I'm here. Feel free to put comments in your videos, please. More than anything, I just want you all to know you are absolutely not alone. And we can all have moments where we slip or make bad choices, but it doesn't have to be the end. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's encouraging in some way. I mean, that was the whole point of, me putting this out there, was I hope to encourage you in some way. And it's never too soon to get started. Even if right now your whole goal, even if you need to take the next few weeks to cut down on sugar, just to start, so that come Christmas, you are ready to eliminate sugar, at least as a starting point, from your diet and cut out all the sweet tasting garbage. Hey, it's a start. I had to cut it out cold turkey because I, again, can't moderate, and I didn't want that ruling my life anymore. But if you need to start more slowly in order to make sure you stick with it, that works too. So whether you are currently keto, low carb, or carnivore, or you have been for a while, we all can have temptations and struggles from time to time. It's about the overall journey, after all, isn't it? It's not about perfection. It is about the progress we make on our journey to our best possible health, whatever that works out to be for each of us. I hope this is helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and all the way to the end. Thank you so much for your kindness and your good words and your support. I wish you all the very best. Yay, we're almost December. Super excited, and I will have definitely more content for you guys as I go forward, but thank you so much in the meantime for all the ways that you support and encourage me. Feel free to leave your comments or share your own stories or struggles in the comments below. You can also reach out to me directly if you wish at thehealingfoodscoach@gmail.com. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy your amazing Sunday, and I will talk to you soon. Share my next few little thoughts in my next video. Bye for now.